Hello everyone, this is Akulina. You are listening to Coffee with Lina podcast. Research creates new knowledge. View research is an opportunity to explore and discover new things. My guest today is Dr. Aishwarya, who is a lawyer specializing in technology policy and has founded her own research organization in California, USA. She studied business and law from India and graduated with Chancellor's Gold Medal for highest grades in the entire university and finished her master's and PhD from UC Berkeley last year. A new field of research in nuclear law has been established by her at UC Berkeley for herself and for the other researchers also. MIT recognized her as a rising star in nuclear law field. Additionally, she led AI policy research projects in collaboration with leading think tank and US government institution. She broke the glass ceiling. She has proved how high the women can rise if they want. Nothing is impossible if you want. Welcome, Aishwarya.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day in Hanoi, and I'm happy to meet you again.
Yes, me too. This is my second time.
Yeah.
I have met you. Looking back to your childhood, can you remember one incident that has shaped you today as a successful law and policy researcher? And where did you grow up? And did it affect you to become who you are today?
Thank you for that question. I have to think. It's yeah. There's so many different incidents that have happened over the course of my life so far that have shaped me to be the person that I am. But if I have to maybe pick one, it would be. Yes, this one time I think I was just hanging out with my dad. I loved hanging out in his office when he was working. I really just admired him in his office with his papers, doing lawyer things. He was working with the government of India for pretty much all of his career. And I was just looking through different books in his bookshelf because I was just fascinated by these like big fat books he had and like all the smart things that he was doing as a lawyer. And I had nothing better to do. I pretty much scribbled all over every notepad I could find in his office. So I went up to him and I was like, "Can you find me a book to read?" I was like 9, I think, or something. And he looked quite perplexed, and he was like, "Well, I mean, I cannot just give you like a law book." And so he went to his bookshelf, tried to find like the thinnest, easiest book to give his 9-year-old daughter, and it was this book called The Due Process of Law by Lord Denning. He is this famous English jurist who's a judge, and in that book he talks about how law and lawyers and judges shape society, how law is this sort of kind of a big determinant in how different things happen in the world or the trajectory of humankind and what we can achieve. And I just fell in love with that sort of philosophy, and I fell in love with that style of writing. And I went to my dad and I asked him, "Where do they teach you to write like this?" And he said, "Well, in law school." And I told him, "Well, okay, I'll just go to law school." And my dad's like, "Sure, okay." And I think that was probably when I had some early inclinations towards pursuing a degree in law and becoming a lawyer. I hadn't decided, but yeah, that's
Yes, you got the motivation from your father already in 9 years old. When
yeah.
yes, basically we all like our many a set of incidents are there in our childhood that helps us to shape what we are.
Yeah.
Set of bunch of incidents are there. You cannot, like, I'm asking you this question. Yes, it's okay that one incident. Sometimes one incident takes a huge role in your life. In my life also, I have multiple incidents, but one incident is really remarkable, and that shaped me what I am today. One day, if I get the opportunity somewhere, I will share that. But yes, it's great when you are getting something, you have got the inclination from your father already.
Yeah.
And that's a good opportunity also at your home. You can, anytime you can ask a question, like you got the thing what you like in that age, I think. Yes,
Yeah.
and that's why you are pursuing that one. And one more question: where did you grow up? Like which city?
Right. So pretty much all over India. I was born in Lucknow, in northern India, and then we moved to New Delhi. Grew up in Calcutta, but in India, the most formative city for me would be Mumbai. That's where I finished high school and went to college, and that's a city where like I like to think I sort of grew up there more like I came of age in Mumbai.
In Mumbai, yes. You studied business and law from India and graduated with Chancellor's Gold Medal for highest grades in the entire university. Then you got to Berkeley and finished your PhD last year from there.
Yeah.
How was the entire journey?
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, it went by so quick, but it was also so eventful. Like so many things happened, and I mean, none of this was really like planned, how it is. I think I told you like around 9, I became interested in law, and both my parents are lawyers. My grandfather was a lawyer, so I had a lot of inspiration, like at my dinner table.
Yes, lot of discussions.
Lots of discussions every evening. I had these amazing role models. My brother also is a lawyer, so when I was thinking about what to study for college, he had already been studying law as well. So I had like these different generations and their experiences, and that influenced me. And I think I was quite torn initially. I told my parents that, I mean, maybe the thing I like about law is the writing style. So maybe I should go become a writer. And my parents said, okay, I mean, you are done with high school, like you have this whole summer, why don't you try writing something? And I had way too much time. I was like 13 or something, and I decided to write a novel. So I put together like, I think 350 pages of, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I had way too much time at that age. And in writing that, some of the stories that I was writing about, they sort of ended up having these hooks of, some injustice that happened to the character. And now, she feels that she needs to fix that, or someone else, like some system is corrupt or something's wrong, and the different characters express their frustrations. And in expressing myself in that novel, I sort of realized that I think I don't just like law because of the writing style, the language. I think I like law because of the power that it has to influence society. And so I decided, okay, I'll go to law school. And when I was in law school, I became quite interested in energy law. I mean, climate change. My family's hometown is Delhi, and from my childhood to just adulthood, air quality in Delhi just became worse and worse and worse. Energy demand became higher, usage of fossil fuels became higher, and so there was this feeling of, I want to do something useful and good with my career, and what is my role as a lawyer in society? What do I get to work on fixing? And I decided it would be, at that time, climate change. And so I started looking into, well, after I graduate, where do I go and find more knowledge to equip myself to pursue this goal? And I decided to go to Berkeley. And when I went to Berkeley, I went for like a 1-year master's program, and I just had 3 goals. I want to learn from the best, and I want to work with the best, and then ultimately I want to be the best.
Wow.
So I hadn't thought that, oh, I want to go work at a law firm, or I want to consult, or I want to do academia. It's just those 3 very broad goals. And then I went there, explored a bunch of things, and it's just been serendipitous. Just like meeting someone led to a research project, and coming across a job posting led to my first, just randomly coming across a posting led to my first job. And then the things that I'm doing now, they're all just people I met, things I read.
Yes. Berkeley is an amazing opportunity for you, I think. But yes, besides that, research is rigorous. Always, I feel the credible and how much impactful for the others in the society. That's much important. That already you mentioned that you thought about the climate change because you were raised and born, raised in Delhi, so you know the climate, environmental pollution, everything. So yes, it's I feel pretty good for the people who are getting the benefit of your research from your research.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. Why did you start your own research organization? You co-founded Vista Institute for AI Policy. Did you have a long wish or something else?
Yeah, again, it's just pure serendipity. I was doing climate change law, and in particular, I was interested in the role of nuclear energy in the world in providing clean baseload energy. And so completely different from anything AI. I had a lot of friends. I mean, living in Berkeley, going to Berkeley, pretty much like 90% or 80% of the people I knew were working in AI. So I always admired them, and I thought it was just like cool technology. But in the final year of my PhD, I decided to do a startup. I was like, if not now, then when? And Berkeley, like the university, has a pretty big, like, supportive startup community, and they, provide funding and help you accelerate your startup initially and incubate it and all of that. So I was doing a startup, and we were using AI to translate contracts to plain language summaries, and we called it the contract nutrition labels. Like, reading a contract should be as easy as knowing what's in your food. You need to also know what's in your contract in simple language. And I started just looking into, well, I mean, if we're using AI to translate contracts, there have to be like some sort of legal risks to doing this. So I was just looking into, I mean, what are the problems that we could have, like IP issues, just general other negligence issues, and liability issues of using AI. And I stumbled upon literature that talked about general risks from AI. And I learned about just how little we know about the technical aspects of how AI works, how the algorithms lead to certain decision making within large language models, and I mean, basically how much of a black box these things are to us right now, and how little interpretability we have. And then I started thinking about, like, well, I mean, this is like a pretty important technology for our century. I mean, I'm sure like really smart people are thinking about how to create laws and policies to address these risks. And I found pretty much nothing. And I was really concerned by that. I was like, someone needs to think about this. And I started looking into some conferences on the issue so I could go and learn more about it. It was just purely truth seeking. I was like, maybe I'll just put the energy, I'll keep doing my energy stuff, but I'll take like a few weeks to investigate this. And I found this conference. Unfortunately, you had to apply to attend the conference, and I'd missed the deadline. And the conference was like 2 days after, I was preparing for the California bar exam at this time. So it was going to be 2 days after the bar at the same venue. And so I said, you know what, I'll just worry about it later. So I took the bar. I had some free time, and I was like, why not just show up to the conference? What's the worst that can happen? Like, they just won't let me in. So I started looking up on this amazing thing that we have with LinkedIn now. I started looking at people attending that conference.
Basically, Berkeley is a place, MIT Berkeley is a place where you are surrounded by the amazing people. who are full of ideas. So definitely you have to find out the ideas from your side also.
Yeah.
When you are surrounded by the people who are the idea generator.
Yeah.
And one more thing is maybe it's revolutionary, chat GPT and AI, but we cannot neglect the need of the human touch,
Yeah.
that critical thinking. So still we need the customization for the different case. That will be helpful when it is helpful for our society, AI and chat GPT. But human connection, a human brain is also necessary to customize the things.
Yeah.
Still, besides all the things.
Yeah, at least until human brains are still
Human brains are
smarter
still smarter than
than LLMs. We need to
That-
figure it out.
figure it out,
before
yes, yes.
then. But yeah, I mean, just like showing up to that conference and like meeting like 3 or 4 people who met me, they were like, well, you're doing like nuclear law, which is pretty relevant. Like if you've done like nuclear risks, you can translate it into some work in AI risks. And it just led to this like thinking. I still didn't end up doing any AI work for a while. I think I just wrote one paper and then, was pretty inactive. And I took up a job in climate grant making. And I came across this call for applications for like a job to, an organization was going to hire people to co-found an academic field building organization whose job was to expand the amount of knowledge and research and expertise,
Yes.
legal expertise we have.
So you have the institution, in that institution maybe you develop the skill and the knowledge and the network, right?
Yeah, they pretty much just incubated it. And I was doing like my regular like climate job. And I was like, why not just apply? I'm really passionate about this. I've been doing my own outreach, like showing up to conferences and stuff. And I applied. I was involved in a pretty small capacity initially. I think I was doing like 2 days a week or something, which ended up expanding to 4 days a week. And I was like balancing my full-time job with this. I was like working like 150% time. And then earlier this year in June, I called my parents and I told them that I think I'm ready to just go full-time on my organization and I'm going to quit my job.
Yes.
And they were like, I mean, if you're sure, think about it.
It's good. I think it's good. It's great, not good.
Yeah.
Yes. 11 years of research is an intense experience for you. Great to see so many things happening in one place. Distinct culture and diversity. So what did you learn from that can be beneficial for the others also?
I think just persistence. I think research is, it's different for everyone, but the biggest thing I've learned is you can answer pretty much any question and you can make any project happen if you just keep at it long enough. Like something's gonna work. When I was researching nuclear law, and Berkeley tends to be like, it's a very like, nuclear was a controversial issue in Berkeley because there was this whole like anti-nuclear movement in the US in like the 70s, and there was a lot of fear towards nuclear energy. Like Fukushima happened in 2011, and so I showed up in Berkeley like wide-eyed 21-year-old, like I want to do nuclear, and they're all just like, we don't do that here.
That's a pretty uncommon thing, like not very conventional for the others.
But I think
yes.
No, but I just like kept going. I just kept doing my research, and then the funding came along at some point. The law professors that I was pitching these projects to eventually became interested. And I found a job, and I like now lead projects within the nuclear engineering department, like cross-disciplinary projects with nuclear engineers. So it took like 7 years. It's like a 7-year journey, and I feel like now there's this whole like momentum for building more nuclear because we've got these AI data centers. They need power. The global energy demand is increasing, and how are you gonna power that up if not with nuclear? So it's
the great institution, they teach us how to think, not how to think and go out of your comfort zone, and pushes you to go out of your comfort zone. And one more thing, as per my opinion, maybe other people can say the same, that research is like learn, unlearn and relearn. Learn, relearn and unlearn. And every day is a test and trial. Always you are doing that, right?
Yeah.
And yes, that's important in the research. Every day you have to take a different step if you are failing and falling. So failing, falling are the part of our journey. But winner who never gives up.
Yeah,
That's the point.
You just have to keep at it.
Keep at it, yes. And you are very passionate about creating more knowledge or neglected and important research areas like nuclear law. Usually, the common people don't have much knowledge about law. Why do you think this area is significant in society?
I think, as I was saying, I mean, like the global energy demand is rising. I mean, if you look at the graph of energy demand growth in emerging economies, so like Asia and Africa, and primarily Southeast Asia as well. I mean, the energy has been kind of growing like 50s, 60s low, and then like now it's like on like a steep rise. I mean, population is growing. These countries are experiencing massive economic growth, and they need energy, as they should, to power their development. And in the developed world, the energy demand has been kind of like stable. Like it was low, and then like 60s, 70s, and then like slightly up in like the 90s, and then 2000 slightly up. But like it's not like dramatic. It's not like an upward slope that you'll see on the upward curve that you'll see on the graph. And so it's not possible to power all of that with just renewables. Renewables are intermittent sources of energy. I mean, we haven't quite figured out battery storage and how to make that cheaper and sustainable possible as an option. So, I mean, then you're left with geothermal and nuclear. Nuclear is it's a mature technology. We know how to implement it. We know how to deploy it. We've done it since the 50s. And so, there is this sort of perception problem with nuclear, and I think quite rightly so. The way nuclear has been implemented in the past, I mean, there's been a lot of opacity around nuclear, that like, oh, nuclear is this like big secret thing, and we're going to implement it. And so, of course, like, I mean, like, people don't trust it, and so that culture needs to change. And I think there's a large role for lawyers and social scientists to play in changing that, because it's been sort of, I mean, technologists and politicians have led how nuclear power projects are implemented. And I just felt like that needed to change, and there needed to be more information around, I mean, what are the legal issues related to how do you acquire land for nuclear power projects? How do you address equity and fairness concerns through law? And how do you make sure when you're negotiating nuclear power project agreement, especially with like an advanced economy and implementing a project in an emerging economy, how do you make sure it's fair? What is the role of both domestic and international legal instruments in making that happen? And I just found that there was very little literature on this. I mean, there's probably like 50, 60 nuclear lawyers in the world.
But yes, this nuclear law, it helps the people for safety, security, and safeguards. I think 3S, right?
Yeah.
And one more thing, that nuclear law is helping. I didn't have any idea before this. When I started to read about the nuclear law, I came to know that they are taking care of the worker and people and the environment, right? So in the medical industry also, that area also, when they are making the isotope, radioactive isotope in the hospital, or because they have to use it in a certain amount, like we have to make the law behind this, right? So yes, many things, many things are prominent in our society, but many things are not really prominent. We don't really think about those matters. But yes, we have to think which are necessary, but we didn't know. We don't have any idea about this, how to fix the problem through our law, and through the we have to think about the safety of the people around us and the nature also, environment. So my last question is to you: what is the secret sauce of your success? If you can share with the audience, they can get some help from you, because you have done a lot of research and you have co-founded your institution, like blah blah blah, a lot of things. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so it's going to be a slightly annoying answer. I'll warn you in advance, but I mean, there's no secret sauce. I think one of my core beliefs is that we are all born with similar abilities and not similar opportunities, but similar ability and similar potential. And then, what we end up accomplishing is really just a matter of things that we do and, the opportunities that we have access to, because we are in a very, very unfair world. So you have to address that. But despite all of that, I think everyone can achieve anything they want to. And I think the thing that keeps me going every day, like I can share my motto with you, my daily mantra.
Self-motivated. I think you are self-motivated. That's why you don't need anything to push you forward.
Yeah, but there's this movie, there's this Bollywood movie. I love films, and I love sports films.
Me too. I love films.
Nice. We'll have to talk about that after. But my mom, she used to be this very accomplished athlete back in India, and so I love sports movies. I love sharing those with her. It's such joy to watch her get excited about the sports people are playing. But anyway, there's this movie called Iqbal. It's about this deaf and mute young man in a small village. He's quite poor, and he wants to join the Indian cricket team as a bowler, and he's very talented. But he has access to no resources, but he has a lot of potential and he has talent. And so it's about his journey, trying to be seen, trying to get training, and then ultimately making it to the Indian team. And there's a song in that movie. It's called Asha. I like that song because it means hopes, and my mom's name is Asha, which also means, of course, hope. There's a line in that song, I'll translate it to English as well, but in Hindi it's like, "Kuch aisa karke dikha, khud khush ho jaye khuda." So it says that do something so great that even the God or the universe is happy, smiles upon you and just gives you whatever you want. So I think that's what I tell myself every day. That's what I'm trying to do every day, and then the rest just kind of.
Yes, great sharing. And I love movie also. So I saw one movie, Born to Run. Yes, and I will say, I'll change it, Born to Win. If you really want to do something, you can do. You are born to win something, but it depends upon you how much hard work you are doing. If you want to get your dream, want to reach the dream, definitely you will get that, and just keep hope. Best of luck and
keep at it.
Yes. And I'd like to conclude my conversation with Aishwarya. Thank you so much for your time. I know you visited Vietnam this time, and I have got you for my channel, for my podcast. So it's my blessings and honor. This is an opportunity. I grabbed the opportunity.
You did, yeah. And you'll have to come to Berkeley so I can interview you.
Definitely. If I get a chance, definitely I will. Okay. Next week, come with a new video.